Yesterday, Sayadaw mentioned that in the practice, having a Kalyanamitta, a good spiritual friend, is very important. And the Buddha said this in the scriptures. And he listed the qualities of a Kalyanamitta. And at first, what he described are qualities which result, the resultant qualities. The qualities Sayadaw mentioned last night, being lovable, being respectable, being the object of others' metta, and being able to speak plainly to others, be able to communicate effectively, and be able to tell students where they're missing, and able also to accept criticism from others. And having studied and also practiced oneself, a Kalyanamitta can explain the profound Dhamma. Last of all, a Kalyanamitta does not use those who depend on him or her improperly for one's own benefit. These qualities are resultant qualities. The Buddha was fulfilled with these qualities. And if a teacher is fulfilled with these qualities, then those who rely on that teacher really have something reliable. So these results come from causes. So the 8 causal qualities of a Kalyanamitta is what Sayadaw will explain in brief today. The causal qualities of a Kalyanamitta are 8. And Sayadaw recited the beginning of the Pali. Kalyanamito hi sada sampanno hoti, sila sampanno, sutta sampanno, and so on. So first of all, a Kalyanamitta must be fulfilled with faith. Sada sampanno. Now the Buddha, even before he became enlightened, he had complete faith. And after his enlightenment, it goes without saying. But these words are intended in particular for those who now represent the Buddha's representatives. They must be fulfilled with faith. In order for faith to arise, there has to be something trustworthy, something worthy of faith. If we take as our object something that is false, we will, and we decide that this is trustworthy, this is true. That's the quality of mechadi malka. That's basically ignorance, not knowing. We decide, we make a decision, we hear something, but it's not really true. It's not accurate. It's not trustworthy. So it amounts to ignorance. Not knowing. It's based on not knowing and not knowing the wrong and knowing the wrong way. So there must be, for faith to arise, there must be the cause for faith, the object of faith, saddhaya vatu. And that is, first of all, the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha. Those are the objects. Those are objects of faith, trustworthy objects of faith. And also, if we do good, good will result. If we do bad, bad will result. Like when we eat something that's not good for us, we'll feel bad. It's the same way. If we do actions that are good, then we'll come into good results. Our behaviors will be lovable and pleasing. And if we do bad acts, we'll get bad results. So one must really understand this. If we are humans now, that means that we had a human life in the past. So we have to believe in cause and effect, and also in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, if as a Kalyanamitta. The first quality is sada sampanna, the first causal quality. So in being fulfilled in faith, a Kalyanamitta believes in the omniscient knowledge of the Buddha. He believes that the Buddha knew all there is to know, and also believes in karma and result, cause and effect. And because of that, because of believing in cause and effect. One understands that, and believing in omniscient knowledge of the Buddha, Sabbanyutta Jnana, a person believes in Mahakaruna, the great compassion that was the cause for the Buddha's work towards enlightenment. He saw that beings suffer, and that because we do bad, beings suffer. And so he determined, first of all, to find the way to freedom from old age, sickness, and death. He worked to fulfill the paramis that lead to enlightenment. And he realized Sabbanyutta Jnana, omniscient knowledge, for himself. So that he, in that way, having arrived at liberation himself, it was as though he broke the path for others to follow. So the cause of suffering comes the root of having bad attitude or bad mentality towards others is the kilesas. They're at the root. And the Buddha therefore dispelled all the kilesas in order to help others. So he was moved to do this by his great compassion. And a true Kalyanamitta does not ever let go of this great compassion. The second causal quality of a Kalyanamitta is sila. Sila sampanno hoti. One must be fulfilled with sila. And so one is fulfilled with basic morality. And that means out of the... Mama. So, because when one is fulfilled with basic morality, out of the 10 ducharitas, the 10 misdeeds, one refrains from the 3 physical misdeeds and the 4 verbal misdeeds. These behaviors are gross behaviors which harm other people physically and harm other people verbally. So one who is fulfilled with sila keeps the sila according to their walk in life. A lay person must keep the minimum of 5 precepts. A monk must keep the monk's vinaya. And this is the sila, fulfillment of sila is very important. Due to being fulfilled with sila, beginning with those who are near to us and spreading out far and away, one is loved and respected and the object of others' metta. And because of being fulfilled with sila, one also has the quality of being able to find one's own faults. One can look at oneself and see what is wrong and discard bad habits. One won't do misdeeds that one sees in oneself. One would work to overcome those. And also, that's called chodaka. And also, the 2 qualities that were mentioned yesterday, vata, meaning that not only can the teacher see and fix his own faults, but he can speak frankly to the students so that they will know their faults and be able to fix them. Also, if the students have criticism, the teacher can receive it, vachana kamma. So this being fulfilled with sila is the cause for the qualities of piya, lovability, guru, respectability, and pavaniya, being the object of others' metta. With regard to receiving criticism from others, some people give others criticism, correct others' behavior, but they get angry when they receive criticism from others. And we shouldn't be like that. A Kalyanamitta should not be like that. The Venerable Sariputra was the highest of the Buddha's disciples, and his knowledge was second only to the Buddha's. Once, he wasn't wearing his robe properly and the edge dragged on the ground. A novice came up to him and said, "Venerable Sir, your robe is dragging." And so the Venerable Sariputra adjusted his robes and he asked the novice, "Is it okay now?" And he raised his hands in respect to the novice. We should have this kind of attitude as a Kalyanamitta. The third causal factor, causal quality of a Kalyanamitta is Sutta Sampanna. Sutta means experience. And there's two types of experience. Experience in terms of literature and practical experience. Or we can say also knowledge. So through study, one gains knowledge of the correct practice. And one puts that into practice. So Sutta Sampanna contains both, such a person has both theoretical knowledge and practical experience. Learning the correct practice, they put it into practice. And having faith, they're able to work to develop the practice. So this type of person has sila, samadhi, and paññā through the practice. They have theory, through reading, discussing, learning, and they have knowledge that is also practical. Now the Buddha himself, when his knowledge developed, beginning with discerning mind and body, gradually developing Vipassana insights and purity of mind. With the practice, one goes from actions which cause the rounds of samsara to continue, bhavata, to apavata, actions which cause the round of samsara to end. So the freedom that we gain through the practice is apavata. It's an action that causes our samsaric journey to start to come to an end. So a Kalyanamitta has direct experience of the practice. And having learned as well as practice, one can teach the theory as well as teaching the practice. They can teach both. In the Buddha's time, there were disciples who developed theoretical knowledge automatically through their practice. And this is really an amazing thing. So with theory, both theory and practice, one can preach the profound Dhamma. One can talk about the dependent origination, the Four Noble Truths, the four foundations of mindfulness. One can talk about the Dhamma, which is deep and profound. And therefore this quality of Sutta Sampanna, being fulfilled with theoretical and practical experience, leads to the resultant quality of being able to preach about the profound Dhamma, Gambirancha Katankata. One should choose a Kalyanamitta that is fulfilled with the causal qualities. The fourth causal quality of a Kalyanamitta is Chaga Sampanna. Chaga has two aspects. One is getting rid of, and the other is sharing. So what do we get rid of? We get rid of lobha, dosa, and moha. Well, for example, one undertaking the practice of satipatthana is complete with sila, samadhi, and paññā. So one has the basic sila, and with our noting, samadhi kanda, the three factors of the samadhi kanda, virya, sati, and samadhi, are fulfilled. And at that time, through our noting, we discard the pariyotana kilesas, the obsessive kilesas. Through sila, we discard the transgressive ones. And with knowledge arising, paññā weakens and discards the latent kilesas. So each of the practices that a Kalyanamitta is fulfilled with cause the relevant type of kilesas to be discarded. And through one's practice, when one practices developing knowledge, one's faith in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha becomes stronger and stronger. It becomes very firm. And also, one doesn't have a regard for one's own benefit. And therefore one's able to easily give things to others, to share what one has. Give up one's own possessions because of this chaga sampanna. When we practice satipatthana, one's attachment to oneself is eroded. We are the ones, we each find our own self the most lovable. We ourselves are what we hold the dearest. So if our own attachment for ourselves is eroded, then it goes without saying that one's attachment to others is likewise eroded. We see dukkha in ourselves. And therefore, one doesn't want to beautify oneself when one practices. One doesn't care for dressing up, wearing jewelry, and one doesn't care about sense pleasures. And one also doesn't think highly of oneself when we see ourselves through the eyes of the practice. If we look with attachment, we'll want a lot of things. And, if we have attachment, then when we're able to do something, we're capable, we do something good, then we feel proud, and if we can't, we feel depressed. So having attachment is really a lot of bother. Due to chaga, being able to let go of what one has, one is also one wants little. Because of one's ability to let go of what one has, one wants little and one is content with what one has. And one is also able to live in seclusion. That's called viveka. And there are 3 kinds of seclusion. First of all, being able to live without a companion. Not just saying it, not just in word, but actually being able to live alone. And also, the second form of solid seclusion is seclusion from the kilesas. One is able to keep one's mind away from the companionship of kilesas. And thirdly, being able to stay alone with the object of nibbana. So this comes from all these qualities come from one's ability not to be unattached to possessions, which is chaga. With regard to chaga sampanna, if Sayadaw were to say everything there is to be said about it, there would be quite a lot. So for now, this is enough on chaga sampanna. And at a suitable time, if one comes up, Sayadaw will say more. The fifth causal quality of a Kalyanamitta is virya sampanno hoti. A good spiritual friend is fulfilled with virya. What is virya? It's courage. Courage to do whether it's for oneself or others, courage to avoid doing what is wrong, either for somebody else's benefit or for oneself, and the courage to do what is right. This is a very special quality. And also, Kalyanamitta, being fulfilled with virya, courageous effort, one possesses, first of all, there's 3 stages of effort, and these are all fulfilled. One is initial effort, and the second is stepped up effort, or nekama dhatu, and the third is the effort, culminating effort to reach the goal, or paripurna virya, and also called arata virya. So, if one is fulfilled with effort, one has completed those 3 stages of effort. And this last effort to reach the goal, when we want to boost something, like when we want to shoot a rocket up into the air, we need to have enough. We have to push it up gradually in stages, and then we finally get it up into orbit. So it's the third level of effort is the effort to finally get our practice to the point where it doesn't go down anymore, never drops down. So if we're fulfilled with effort, then we'll never shirk from doing what is beneficial for oneself and for others. One will always do what is for the true welfare of oneself and others. And as far as what is beneficial for oneself, this means that one has the courage to avoid misdeeds, avoid doing what shouldn't be done, and the courage to do what should be done. And by virtue of this fulfilled effort, one naturally avoids wrong deeds and naturally does good deeds by way of body, speech, and mind. Most people in the world don't have the courage to do what is in their own best interest and in the best interest of others. First of all, they don't understand what is to the true welfare of others and what is to the true welfare of themselves. Not understanding that, they don't have the courage to do what is truly in our best interests. Therefore, most people in the world are blind, like as if they're blind, and very few people are brave. Therefore, the world is being destroyed at this point. The 6th quality of a Kalyanamitta, the 6th resultant causal quality, is sati sampanna. A good Kalyanamitta is fulfilled with sati, the ability to do, speak, and even think. At every moment, sati is present naturally, sticking to the object. This is called upatita sati. And now for the yogis who are practicing continuously, respectfully, and carefully, sati protects them. Sati protects the mind from anything that is not right, not suitable. And therefore the yogi is free of disturbance and peaceful. And sati is the best quality, the best protection that one can have. The 7th quality of a Kalyanamitta is samadhi. One who is a good Kalyanamitta is fulfilled with samadhi, or steadiness of mind, stability of mind. With samadhi, the mind doesn't move due to lobha, dosa, and moha. This disturbance is not there. Therefore, the mind is calm and peaceful. Being free of this disturbance of the kilesas is samadhi. And one who has that in their mind is fulfilled with samadhi. To the extent that one has samadhi, the mind is not dispersed. It is aviketa. It doesn't fly away when you try to note an object. And not only that, it's samahita chitta. One has some mind that is collected. It's free of movement, the disturbances from the lobha, dosa, and moha, and therefore it's steady, stable, collected. That's all. The mind of an arahant has this steadiness of mind. And we who are not yet arahants, when we have good samadhi, good noting samadhi, and knowledge is developing, we also have stability of mind. And our mind is so stable that even if we try to focus our mind on something that's going to, that's something we really like, if we try and send our mind somewhere else, it won't go there. Or else it will come right back. And what this type of samadhi is, it's like a boomerang, which people may be familiar with, is used in Australia as a weapon. And Sayadaw tried it also himself. And this weapon, when you throw it, it comes right back to where you are. And the same with the mind that is fulfilled with samadhi. Even if you try to throw it to a likable object, it won't go, or it will come right back. The last causal quality of a Kalyanamitta is paññā sampanno. One must be fulfilled with paññā. So what is it that we know? Such a person knows what there is to be known, the true Dhamma, and beginning with nama and rupa, physicality and mentality, the truth of suffering, the truth of its cause, the truth of the end of suffering and the way to it. At the start, suffering and its cause are what we need to note. When we note with the help of aim and effort, sati sticks to the object, and we come to see clearly, distinctly. We come to see for ourselves, we see correctly, and we see in great detail, even up until realizing past knowledge. When we get to the higher stages of the practice, we can even see very small objects quite clearly. And this is the meaning of pa, the suffix pa in sampajana. It means distinctly and clearly. So one who is fulfilled with knowledge in this way will be able to reflect before doing something or saying something. Is this beneficial? Is it suitable? And such a person will only do both what is beneficial and suitable. A person who is fulfilled with paññā, whatever they do will be clean and pure. And this is due to being fulfilled with paññā. There's much to say about this, but since the time is up, Sayadaw will continue tomorrow. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.